All right, guys. Welcome to another Facebook Live, guys. I gotta adjust this mic. My name's Ganem Tekla, founder of digitalresiduals.co. Now, if this is your first time watching this live, guys, this is gonna be absolutely special. And the reason why is because I'm going over a topic that matters to a lot of people, which I'm going to go into in a second. But ultimately, like, try to provide as much value as possible. So if you're watching this from YouTube, if you're watching this from the Facebook page, if you're watching this from the Facebook group, let's all come together and we're going to comment live below. If you're watching it live, it's 8 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesday, April 8th, guys, right? And just so you know, this is live, guys. This is not pre-recorded like, some of these other webinars you see online. Just leave it at that, right? No shade. Comment live below, comment live. And if you're watching a replay, okay? If you're watching a replay, whether it is Wednesday, Thursday, or 29 days from now, because Facebook deletes these videos, so make sure you finish this, comment replay below. Comment replay. Now, guys, two things. Number one, if you're watching this live, let's freaking go. We're about to get down today. Number two, if you're watching the replay, you're going to start seeing some comments. In addition to that, you guys will all start interacting with each other because you never know. Your network equals your net worth, guys. You might meet somebody here. This has happened a lot. You co-invest into a business together, and all of a sudden, you guys have like 10 laundromats. Who knows, guys? But when you're in the right room, you're going to make the right decisions, right? So, with that being said, guys, let me actually pull up these comments to make sure I can see you guys. There we go. There's like a delay. So you're going to see my team in here. Some of our team members, some of them you recognize. Darren, what's going on? Nash, I like it. Awesome, guys. And then usually, for some reason, what I've noticed is there's usually a delay with people joining. I don't know what it is. We call it a certain people's time. I'll put it that way in some of our cultures where, you say get there at 8 p.m. It's like 8:15, you're on the way. Okay. So it's okay, guys. If you're watching the replay, you're a little bit delayed. All right. Now, with that being said, today's going to be an actual pretty good live. I'm going to go over like some step-by-step processes that, that really help me kind of get away from the 9 to 5. And I really think you're going to take advantage from also. Okay. Now, before that though, what I do want to know is where you're watching this from. Where are you at in the world? In case you guys know Carmen Sandiego, remember where you're at, Carmen Sandiego? Back in the day, kind of dating myself. That's why I have the gray hairs here. So comment the city and state. Comment the city and state you're watching this from. I'm actually in Miami, Florida, guys. Downtown Miami, Florida. So if you're in Miami, make sure you hit me up because let's get some coffee, some cortaditos, whatever it is, guys. But I want to know exactly where you are watching this from. We've had people from all over. I'm getting hit from Ghana. I'm getting hit from Nigeria. I'm getting hit from Australia, from United Kingdom or England. I was like, it's craziness. And then a lot of Canadians are over here too now. I don't know what it is about our 51st state. Just kidding, guys. All right. You guys are a separate country. It's okay. Don't get offended. But I want to see exactly where you guys are at. All right. So I'm seeing Darren. I'm seeing Nash. See Hamza. What's going on? Jihan. What's going on, guys? Okay, cool. It's all over. Darren, East Coast, late night. Nash, same thing. DC. I like it. Guys. Okay. So for today's live training, let me actually get my share screen. We're gonna go over something special to myself, right? Something that I like really think is very important nowadays, especially with the expenses that are going on. But ultimately, what we're going to be able to go over today is covering some major expenses with digital assets. And here's the reason why I bring this up. So what I'm finding right now, I don't just show of hands. I want you to comment below if you think things are getting more expensive. Comment expensive. If you think things have gotten cheaper in the last like 5 years, comment cheaper. Okay. Because I kind of want to get some opinions. I have my thoughts. I have data also that kind of shows what I believe to be true, but I kind of want to get some show of hands to see like, what people think right now. And the reason why, Angel, I see you, Little Rock, California, Johanna, Mr. Gedam, San Jose, California. What's going on? If you think those are getting more expensive because, or Illinois, Darren, cool. Well, the reason I say this is because you really have to have a plan in place now. And this isn't like the world's ending and all that good stuff. It's like you got to have some savings and you got to have like a means to actually take care of yourself and your family. And your family might be something different. It might be your actual friends. It might be your dog, your cat, whatever. But ultimately right now, if you're not preparing, you're preparing to fail. I'm telling you something right now. If you're not preparing, you're preparing to fail. And I've learned this countless times, guys. I failed so many times before I've gotten here. And thank God those are chapters in my life and I was able to recover from, but I would never wish that upon somebody else right now. So I'm trying to prevent this from happening for you guys. Okay. So Darren, I see expensive. Yeah. I've spoken to some of you guys also, and kind of on the same page where like things are getting kind of expensive now, right? So we're going to break down exactly how you can take advantage of digital assets in 2025 and going on to 2026 to avoid that actual trap. Okay. So let me move this. I don't know how to hide this. Okay. So before we get into that, guys, I just want to give you a quick background on myself, why you're even listening to me. So if you take a step back, say 3 days after I turned 18, I actually joined the United States Marine Corps, right? USMC, or the military in general. And here's the reason why I bring this up, guys, because you're probably wondering, like, what are you talking about, dude? Well, I kind of knew this trap, as we call it, the American trap, was just not for me. Graduate, go to college, get a house, buy 2 cars, get a mortgage for 30 years, maybe get to retire at the age of 65 and enjoy life. It just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense to me. So I kind of went a different route, joined the military. Thank God I did that. Best experience of my life. And if you've ever been in the military where you have veterans in your family, make sure you thank them, because it's just one of those things. So I got out, got into some dead-end jobs. Okay. Got into some dead-end jobs, and I just didn't know what to do. I absolutely did not know what to do. I was just going down and down and down that hole of debt. It was bad. I ended up over $60,000 in credit card debt, guys. Think about that. Over $60,000 in credit card debt. And, I bring this up for a reason because, I wouldn't wish this upon everybody, but it came down to a series of bad decisions, not having a mentor, not having any guidance, just trying to figure things out. So I ended up having to make a decision, had to rip that Band-Aid off and just say, all right, I got to fix this. So I ended up sleeping in my car for a few months. It was like a 1999 Nissan Maxima. It was yellow, stick shift. Man, it was tough, guys. All right. And I was kind of just lost at this point. So coincidentally, I don't know how this happened, but I ended up running into a police officer in a good way. And he was like, dude, you should try to get into law enforcement. So, I started applying, got hired at the Oakland Police Department, and it was just craziness. Absolute craziness. Life was a blur for like the next 7 years. I was working 80 to 100 hours, like literally just every single day, like 15, 16, 17 hours. You guys ever had that feeling? Working the night shift or working some extra shifts where you just have that tiredness behind your eyes. You're just like, I can't see. You're like, oh my goodness. You don't know how you get home. You wake up sometimes, you're like, oh my goodness. I swear I was driving 2 minutes ago. That was my life. Car chases, murders, running after people, dudes trying to fight you, spitting on you, biting. It was craziness. But here's the thing. I was able to save up. I worked my ass off. I was working overtime every single day. And I saved until finally I hit a magical day, guys. That magical day was when I was worth $0 in my bank account. I had no loans, no credit card debt, nothing. And it felt like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders, like Atlas Shrugged, if you guys have read that book. And the reason I say this is because ultimately you guys got to put yourself in that position where, maybe it's not no debt, but you just have to have that extra income coming in where you're like, you feel relaxed. Well, obviously you're not going to stop. You're like, I got the momentum going. I got the overtime, I got the savings, whatever. So I actually started investing in a lot of things. I invested in a lot of stuff. A lot did not work out. I'm just going to let you know right now. I lost over $150,000 in investments, lost $50,000 in a bad business deal with somebody, like just stuff to happen. But I ran into this thing called digital assets. This was back in, early 2016, late 2015, around that time. And it was just one of those things where it's like, this got to be a scam. This has got to be a scam, guys. Absolutely. There's no way this thing is like online and this is happening. It's got to be the cartel using it. The CIA. I was just like skeptical. I was a cop, guys. I was like, you guys are all scammers. Well, you fast forward a bit, lost a little money, almost gave up. But then I found this little method, which I'm going to break down later today, guys. And that is actually how I replaced my 9-to-5. I ended up giving my 2 weeks notice. I said, hey, in my head, I was like, I have over, it was like 1.3 million or something, like basically in cash. Sitting there, I was like, why do I need to be here? Be stressed out, miss my family, this, that, be pissed off all the time. So I had to leave. So guys, what we're going to break down today is going to be absolutely freaking crazy. We're going to be covering major expenses, like literally how you can cover major expenses with digital assets. So if you're excited, you're like, get them, show me the money. I want you to comment money below. Comment money below. Because at the end of the day, while it's not all about money, let's be realistic. They say money doesn't buy happiness, but sometimes it buys jet skis and it buys gifts for family. And that makes me happy. So it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. All right. So what I'm going to do is actually get this presentation ready. I actually made a PowerPoint for you guys just to make sure I get value as possible. Okay. So what we're going to do is this. And then in the meantime, so I actually did update the PDF guide. In case you guys didn't know, I actually updated a PDF guide. It covers everything. It's like 22 pages now. I just added like so much value. If you want a copy of this, if you want a copy of the PDF guide that covers exactly what you need to do, so you can read it right after this, comment PDF below. Comment PDF. And what I'll do is I'll personally send you a message, or have one of my team members send you a message, and they'll give you the link. It's like 22 pages. You're going to freaking love it. You will love it. All right. So covering major expenses with digital assets, right? So the reason I bring this up, guys, the reason I bring this up is because, like I mentioned, things are getting more expensive. If you look at the cost of food, the cost of rent, the cost of just living, there's a cost of living, which is crazy to me. I came from Africa and I was like, man, I feel, relaxed here. But go back to the US, you're like, gosh, got the T-Mobile, the Verizon bill, Mint Mobile, whatever you got. I got the food, I got the sewer, I got the water. It's just, you keep getting hit with bills. So I was like, all right, how do you get ahead? And then I got this letter the other day. I posted on a story. It was like 3,000 people reacted. It was craziness. It was a letter from Chase, and they're like, hey, you're pre-approved for a loan. It was like, and they said it's like 1.3 million or 1.2 million or whatever it was. It's like 6 or 7% interest and this and that. And I was like, and 20% down payment. Guys, 20% down payment on like 1.2 million is like 200 grand. So you just have to come up with, no, it's $240,000. And the payment, guys, the payment was like 6,000 something a month. So here's the reason why I bring this up. A lot of people would be like, dude, no one's buying a $1.2 million home. Somebody sent me a message. Well, no one's buying a $1.2 million home. Let me show you guys something. So if I go to average home price, Bay Area, coincidentally, 1.2 million freaking dollars is the average price in the Bay Area. So why does this matter? You're probably like, I'm not in the Bay Area. Guys, everything is getting more expensive. So if you're in this position where you're like, I got to cover a mortgage for like $6,500 a month, which is absolutely nonsense. That's like a good salary. It used to be a good salary. What do? Do you work another job? Do you start saving up? Do you invest? Like, what do you do? For the most part, there's not many options. You can't buy another rental property. You can't get an Airbnb. E-commerce is saturated. You try to do like the ride shares, that doesn't work. Try to do like these faceless pages and all that. That takes a lot of technical skill. There's just too many variables. So you're not going to be successful. So what do you do? So what worked for me, because I bring this up because I tried a lot of these things. That's why I can passionately speak about it. I started looking into digital assets, guys. And the reason why was because, number one, I was like, all right, I don't want to quit my job right now. I don't want to quit like my main source of income, even if it's retirement, but I want to add income. And if I want to add income, I can't just keep driving somewhere. I'm not looking to work at Walmart or another job. I need to do something that I can do right here. And a lot of the people I speak to, it's the exact same thing. They say, hey, man, I need something to do that I can do at home. And I get it. I totally understand, because you might have children. You might have other obligations. You're taking kids to wrestling practice. You got to take care of your parents. I get it. So what are you supposed to do? So ultimately, the things you want to look for are things you can do remotely, things you can do from your home or, from your work. Just don't tell your employer, because they will fire you. And officially, I was never doing this at work, guys, just so you guys know, in case they try to come back after me. All right. Then we're going to free my boy, get him. They took him down. So you want to do something you do from work, because at the end of the day, then you're doubling the amount of input or output you're getting in that same 24 hours. Because let's be realistic, we only have maybe 15 hours or 16 hours a day we can really, really work. So there's only so much you can do. And if it came down to it, if getting wealthy was a matter of how hard you worked, janitors would be rich. Think about that for a second. Janitors would be rich if it came down to it, guys. So it has nothing to do with working harder. It comes down to working smarter. And this is what we're going to break down, right? So before I even get into this, I'm going to break down the digital asset basics, because at the end of the day, if you guys don't get the foundations, you guys are going to fail. So if you want the foundations, right? You want the foundations, including that 15-minute video I made, comment foundation below. Comment foundation. I will send a message to you after this live training in about 20 minutes with the actual video training, so you can replay this too. Okay. So let's go over digital foundations basics, right? So the way you want to look at this, as simple as possible, okay? Don't get too technical, whatever. At the end of the day, the way you want to look at this is there's 3 tiers, okay? Or 3 columns when it comes down to digital assets. There's what we call stable coins. All that is just basically, you have a US dollar that's worth $1. You have a digital version of $1. That's it. Yes, there's different versions. There's these variations. There's all this good stuff. I get it, guys. The nerds will be like, get on, well, you got the, it doesn't matter. US dollar, digital dollar. That is stable coins. Now, let's go into column number 2, which is blue chip. So if you're in stock trading or whatever, you're going to like, oh, blue chip, I get it. All this is think of like Google, think of Amazon, think of Apple, like these big companies that they've been around for 10 years and you expect them to be around another 10 years. That's what we call blue chip. They're larger companies. They're larger digital assets where basically you're like, all right, I believe like this would be here long term because of how much people are trading it, the volume, all that good stuff. That's all it is. Then you have this fancy thing called speculative coins. This is Dogecoin to the moon, Haktua girl, all that good stuff, guys. This is like you're going to Vegas, you're going to the gas station, you're getting that lotto ticket that says you can win $10 trillion, but there's a 1 in trillion chance, and you're spending $50. And guess what? You're like, all right, I might get that 10 trillion. And then the next day you're like, I just lost $50 for no reason. That's what speculative are. I get it, guys. I'm trying to be optimistic, but let's just keep it real. Usually you just don't hit. Okay. So that's when it comes down to the basic types. Okay. So if you need this part said again, make sure you comment basic, because what happens is Facebook will auto tag you on this part so you can review from whatever you want, guys. Okay. Now, this is what I call the 4 pillars of the digital asset space. Okay. Keep in mind, I've come up with this myself because, there's all like influencers and all that good stuff. People will say whatever, but I'm big on only talking about what I've done myself. And when it comes down to it, I've personally been successful with this process. So that's why I'm showing it to you. Can you go to YouTube and just look up crypto or digital assets or whatever and find something? Yes, you absolutely can. But this is what's worked for me. Number 1, you got to have a buy and sell source. Okay. You have to have a buy and sell source. What that means is basically you need a way to actually get into the digital assets and out of the digital assets. That's it. It's super simple. A lot of people try to overcomplicate this. It's like at the end of the day, if you have to add extra syllables and make yourself sound fancy, probably something's wrong. So when it comes down to it, this is super simple. You need a way to go from your US dollars that you have to the actual digital assets itself. And that's it, guys. Super simple. So that's going to be pillar number 1, guys. So comment pillar number 1, because remember, like I said, this is going to timestamp it for you. And that's going to allow you to actually rewind. So if you have any questions later, guys. Okay. Pillar number 2 is going to be a residual income platform. Okay. So residual income platform, that's called RIP. So the reason I bring this up is because at the end of the day, you have to have a way to profit off of this. How many of you guys have heard your friend, your family member, they're like, oh, you should buy this thing. You should invest in this thing. I'm talking about stocks, real, whatever. There's always like this magic diet pill where it's going to help you lose 50 pounds or it's going to help you make 50,000. Guys, I'm telling you guys something right now. Earmuffs, if you got somebody under the age of 18 listening. Earmuffs. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And here's the reason why I bring this up, guys. There's no magical pill to make you money. It's BS. It's absolute BS. And if it sounds like it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to. They're like, oh, yeah. I literally spoke to somebody today. They're like, yeah, there's this platform and you invest $1,000 and you'll make 25,000. I was like, what? Like, yeah. And then if you invest 2,000, you make like 30,000. And I was like, I don't know. What do you guys think? I want you to comment below your thoughts. Do you think it's true or false? Comment true if you think that's real, or false if you think it's false. Basically, the platform that person was talking about is somebody who was pushing this, which is crazy to me, and I kind of gave it away. If you invest $1,000, you'll make $20,000. And then if you invest 2,000, you'll make like 30,000 or something. Comment true if you think that's a real place, or comment false if you don't think it's real. Because I was actually really surprised. And this person I was talking to was very intelligent, but it was just one of those things where it's like, really? People are really like saying this? And they were like some influencers that were actually saying this. And I was like, man, you guys got no shame. Because I'm like, that does not make sense to me. Like, imagine your grandparents, your brother, your sister, your girlfriend, your husband. You're like, yeah, I just invested $1,000 in this platform, and they're saying they're going to make me 20,000. The first question you're going to ask yourself is, well, why don't they just do it themselves? Right? Why don't they just do it themselves? So I'm really big on just show me the receipts. Show me the receipts. Because at the end of the day, if you're saying it's working, show me. I say the proof is in the pudding. You guys go to my Instagram profile, you'll see. I show you like, hey, this is what I've done. It's not the fanciest. It's only, a few $1 million. But at the end of the day, it's like I only talk about what I know. So you want to get a residual income earning platform. All these are platforms where you can either lend digital assets and get percentages off of them. You can facilitate the actual network for happening. Sometimes you can actually lend it like somebody like borrowing the money also. But ultimately what this is think of it as a tenant in your rental property. What people do is they'll get a rental property in the terms of digital assets, and they'll just leave it empty for 30 years. They're like, oh yeah, I'm just holding on to it. It's going to give me this magical day I can sell it. Well, yes, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, it's going to be worth a lot more money. But let's be realistic. What did you do in the meantime? I have somebody in here, like, a close friend of mine has a commodities trading business out of Egypt and Dubai. And he's like, if we just held on to the commodities, like we'd be screwed, but we just constantly move them back and forth because that's where the money's at. It's the movement. It's the velocity of money, as we call it. So what ends up happening is most investors, and Mary probably can attest to this, right? I'll call you out, Mary. Most investors, what do? They buy on hold and there's this magical day. It just doesn't happen, guys. There's no magical time to sell, no magical time to buy. So if there's none of these 2 points that happen, what do? You make money in between. It's the same reason why the guys with the parking lots make a lot of money. They charge you $30. They don't care if it's raining or it's sunny or it's a busy day or not. You park for 24 hours, it's $30. And that's it. I could care less what kind of car you have, how big it is, how smelly it is, $20 or $30, and that's it. It's being the middleman. It's why banks have been the most profitable businesses in like the last 200 years. Why? Because they're just the middleman. They're like, it is what it is. You want to buy a Rolex or you want to buy a house? Here it is. Here's your interest. There's a rule of thumb, guys. Those who understand interest earn it. Those who don't pay it. And it's a shitty feeling to hear that, where you're like, dang. I remember I had to look in the bank one time. I was like, that sucks. That guy's real. Like, you just realize, like, man, because you have to build a source of income that pays you, not having you owe like a bank or something like that. That's not making you money. It doesn't make any sense. And just to be clear, guys, if you're doing funding or things like that, well, as long as you're not buying like the Rolex or like the nice purse, if you're investing into yourself or a business, that's 10 times return. But when you're trying to buy those consumer items, which is what I'm talking about, you're not going to be successful. So basically, pillar number 2, guys, is going to be a residual earning platform, a residual income platform. And you're basically using these to profit off of digital assets instead of them just sitting there. So the next question that always comes up is like, well, get them. I made this profit. What do? I'm scared. Well, glad you asked. It comes down to secure storage, right? Secure storage. And remember, guys, comment on pillar 2 so that way you remember what that was. You can go back to that lesson. So secure storage. So one of the biggest things that happens with digital assets, guys, is people lose their money. And this happens at like the $1 billion level and all over. And the reason why is, think about it like this. Imagine you have like your bank account and you have a password to it and there's no recovering it. You just have to memorize that password. And they're like, hey, by the way, the password, it's like 19 letters and you can't just have words. You're gonna be like, what? It's like, and there's no recovering it whatsoever. So don't forget it. That's why you need to have a recovery method. Guys, I can't tell you how many times. Think about this. Imagine having $1 million on an account and you're like, if I lose the password, I can never touch it again. How many of you guys have heard those stories? Comment me below. Comment me if you heard the story where somebody's like, oh, I bought Bitcoin 20 years ago, or not 20 years ago, but like 10 years ago, and it was on this computer and it threw it away. And they start going through the dump from like 7 years ago and getting as much out. I heard that. It's craziness. It's because they didn't have a freaking recovery. So you have to have secure storage. Guys, no one pushes it. No one talks about this in the digital asset space, and it blows my mind. I don't know if it's because I came from law enforcement, so I'm naturally I have a proclivity to kind of like always think of like, worst case scenario. Naturally, I worked in a very dangerous city, and it kept me alive. But I want to make sure you are safe. So if you need help trying to find a way to safely store your digital assets, comment safe below. Comment safe, and what I'll do is I'll send you a message. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a new PDF, 1-pager that's going to go over all the best practices with digital asset security. Okay. Comment safe below, and you guys watch this live before this video gets deleted, and you'll get a copy of it first, guys. Okay. So that's going to be pillar number 3, which is secure storage. Now, the next one's going to be a fun one of mine, right? And I know this is probably not going to be that sexy, but this is what I call an optimization plan. Okay. An optimization plan. So you're probably like, pillar number 4, optimization. Guys, this is very important. This is very obviously keep us safe and, make money. But how many of you guys want to be better every single year? I know me. Comment mindset below. Comment mindset. If you're like, you know what? I have the mindset that every single year I will improve. I know hands down, that's me. Every single year, if I'm in the same spot, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to have anxiety. Comment mindset below. So here's the reason why. When it comes down to it, most people are not planning, so they're planning to fail. You have to ask yourself, you have to be very specific. You have to say, hey, how much money do I want to make? And we'll go into this, but like, how much money do I want to make in the next 30 days, the next 90 days, and the next year? If you don't know those numbers, you're not going to be successful. The way I always break this down is like this. You know how much your mortgage or your rent costs. You know how much your food, for the most part, your food, your utility bills, your cell phone bills, you know that. But how do you not know how much you need to be successful? You know why? It's society's fault. It's not your fault. It's society's fault. They've trained you to think this way. They've trained you to be a consumer. Buy this, buy that, buy this. Don't ever be successful. Then do this, then do this. And so whenever you have this idea to get involved in digital assets, to do this, to do that, you know what happens? You end up doubting yourself. You end up doubting yourself. And I can tell you this. I had like $1.3 million. And I'm not talking about like a house or in cash. My expenses were like $1,200 a month, something ridiculous. I had a 98 Tacoma that I paid off. It was worth $6,000. Stick shift, 4-cylinder. It did like 25 miles a gallon. Guys, my expenses were low and I was too scared to quit my job. People are like, dude, what's wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of just scared. I'm like, you can pay for your career for like 19 years. And it just hit me. I was like, wait a second. It's because they train you to not believe in yourself. So the reason I say your optimization plan is because you have to document like specifically what it is. I know people in here, there's some coaches in here. There's some very like affluent or very professional former players and former employees here. And what ends up happening is you kind of look back and like, it's easy to like do it for your team members, like your employees. It's easy to do it for your job. But when it comes down to you, it's hard to do. So you need to have a plan in place to make sure you know where you're going to be, where you're at right now, and the timeline it's going to take to get there financially. Okay. So that's going to be the 4 pillars when it comes down to digital assets. Now, what I'm going to break down right now is exactly how you can cover your expenses with digital assets. So if you're excited, you're like, get them, let's freaking go. Well, what I want you to do is this. Okay. I'm going to challenge you. It's not on Facebook Live if I don't challenge you. Comment the number below. What I want you to do is comment the number that you have in mind that you have to make monthly to be not happy, but to be comfortable. Comment the number. It might be $5,000 a month, enough to cover the utilities, the rent, etc. It might be $20,000 to get the yacht. It doesn't matter. Comment that number below. And the reason why is because right now you are going to be having accountability of exactly the amount you want to make to actually take action for yourself. All right. So I want to see some numbers. I want to see some ideas. I had somebody say it was like $1,900. I was like, really? Like, yeah, I just want to do this. And I want to live in like Thailand and like lay down next to elephants. I'm like, okay, that's not me. I like some Whole Foods and I like some pizza, but it is what it is, guys. So planning May, you got yourself 10K a month, the 10K club, Hamza, 10K, put 10K myself just because, it's about that number that covers a lot. So it sounds about like that's about the range, right? We're looking at like closer to like $10,000 a month, about 120 a year. That covers like maybe some family expenses, food, feeling like comfortable. Okay. Darren, $7,000 a month. Okay. Very, very reasonable. Mary, 10,000. Yeah. So roughly like $10,000. And I think what it is, guys, because before it used to be like 5,000, but I think we're kind of realizing how things are expensive. Like even your cell phone bill priced twice as much. So you're kind of in your head, you're like, all right, let me get this number. So that way, if things do get more expensive, I'm not like stressing out. Okay. So this is exactly what you do to actually make this happen. Okay. Number 1, you're going to document all your expenses. All right. This isn't like financial planning, guys, but I'm just going over like the frameworks that I did to actually be successful with this. So number 1, you're going to document all your expenses. So literally what you're going to do is actually have, let's see if I can actually do a whiteboard. I cannot on this. It's on Zoom. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to actually document everything. And I'm talking about everything, like literally Netflix, $15 a month, traveling back and forth to the salon, $25 a month in gas, insurance, this. And the reason why is because we have a chisel effect. That's what we do. We have a chisel and we're chiseling away at those expenses. So we're knocking them down one by one. until we hit zero. As much as this sounds counterintuitive, we want to hit zero, because once we hit zero, you know what that means? It's a term called house money. If you've ever been to Vegas, house money. So imagine you bet $100 and you made 100 and you pull out the 100. So guess what? There's no more risk because you already have your money back. So it's all, you're playing with house money. You're like, hey, whatever I make, this is fun for me. That's the money we want to make. That's the amount of income we want to make. I call it house money. So I want you to comment house below, comment house, because I really want you to remember this concept. It's very simple, but a lot of people overlook it because guess what? They get so caught up in their day-to-day. So comment house below just to have some accountability of this actual process, guys. Okay. So that's gonna be number one. That's going to be documenting all your expenses. Number two is identifying the initial capital you're going to need. Okay. So forget the fancy terms. All this means is you're going to identify what's the initial amount I'm comfortable with investing. For some people, it's like $1,000. For some other people, it's $5,000. Other people, it's like $50. You know, I have a good friend, client. He's a CPA or he's an accountant for one of the big four companies, you know, Deloitte, PwC, like the big accounting firms that do Google, Apple, like those major ones. And he's like, hey, man, I got like $50,000 I want to invest. I was like, hey, okay, cool. That's fine. But let's take a step back. We just want to identify it first. I'm not saying throw all your money in. That'd be terrible. That's terrible advice. What I want you to do is say, okay, I have this set aside. So I know like risk basically. And then from there, what we're doing is we're only going to take out a percentage. We're only going to take out a percentage to invest into one of these platforms. And the reason why we're going to do this is because what I'm talking about, guys, it's all theory. Let's keep it real. It's just some guy on the internet that's just saying, guys, do this. Let's keep it real. You need to have proof of concept. You need to have like that feeling, that taste. You need to say, oh, this is real. It's not just some fugazi or fugazi this guy made up. You want to invest a smaller amount into one of these platforms. From there, you're going to get that first payment coming back. It might be something small, but in your head, it's going to rewire something. You're going to say, wait a second. You're telling me I just invested X, Y, and Z, $500, $1,000, it doesn't matter. And I made $20, 50, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you got money back from investing into something you haven't done before. So guess what's going to happen? You're about to be like a dog with a bone. You guys ever seen a dog with a bone? They're just like, ah, they're just like start chewing. They can't stop. And you try to take it from, even if it's a Chihuahua, you're about to lose a finger. It's game over. You're going to have no pinky. You're going to look like Captain Hook. So the reason I say this is because you need to have that identified. You have to identify that initial capital to invest in. And then what you're going to do is actually use a short-term platform. Okay. When I say short-term platform, these are ones that usually have more risk. I'm just gonna be realistic. Something like this. And usually you're looking at possibly like 100% return very quickly. That's why I call them short-term. So basically imagine you invest $1,000, you make $1,000. Okay. So again, guys, it's not financial advice. Let's keep it real. I just want to give you guys examples of how this works. So what you're going to do is identify one of these short-term platforms. It's going to be a little more risky. I'll be realistic. However, that's how we get to that house money portion. Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually pull out that initial investment and we're just going to reinvest that into something else. So basically think about like this. You're double dipping. Say you invested $100. You made 100. Okay. Nothing crazy, but you pull out the original 100. So you have no risk anymore. So either number one, option A, as you like to say, you keep it, or option B, you say, you know what? I still want to invest as 100. So I'm going to invest into something else I'm more comfortable with, like savings account, whatever. Or option C or option 3 is you reinvest it into another fund. And the reason why I say this is because at the end of the day, you've just created what I call velocity of money, the cycle of money, this flywheel. You have gone from your initial amount of money, whatever it is, it could be 5,000, 10,000, whatever. You've added a lot more, and then you added more on top of that because you've just reinvested it. And it's actually a simple concept, guys. I get it right now. You're kind of like, well, what about this and that? There's always variables. Let's keep it real. There's always going to be variables. But at the end of the day, this is the concept you have to use, because what you're doing is, Clay May, you're going to that 10,000 a month. Darren, you're getting to that point of 7,000 a month. Mary, getting to that point of 10,000 a month, and you're chiseling away at expenses until you get there. And that's exactly what you're going to do to actually cover your expenses, guys, right? Very simple, right? So with that being said, guys, I got something special for you. Number one, all right, first thing, I'm going to call this a 1 week, 1,000 a month plan, right? And guys, again, just giving you guys an example of exactly what you can do. It's all on you though. At the end of the presentation, it's going to be probably like 5 minutes. I'm going to break down a special thing that's going on. Okay, guys? So if you're excited, you're like, get them, show me the freaking money. I want you to comment money below. Comment money below. If you're excited, you're like, let's freaking do this thing, right? Because at the end of the day, I get pumped. I just had, part of an energy drink. Hey, we're trying to make things happen, guys. I'm trying to make things happen for you. Okay.